this is George Ellis. I'm at the Hogg mine, the famous Hogg mine. You've heard about it, so we'll show you some of the stuff to get around and what you might like to do. Behind me you see the store where you can buy stuff and supplies when it's open on Saturday. This is a parking lot. When you come to the mine, you'll be directed to park in this area. That way, behind me is a highway, is the way into the main pit. Explain a couple things. You may have heard of the Ellis crawl. That's me. Knee pads, gloves, homie, shoes. This is a homie. Looks like a plow. It's a ancient Korean hand tool for gardening. It is one of the best tools you can use in the mine. It allows you to rest on it, dig with it, move dirt with it, dig deep, and if you're really feeling lucky, you can break rocks with it. I don't recommend that. It's only good for a couple rocks. So, the Ellis crawl involves getting down on your hands and knees with the knee pads. You have gel knee pads for comfort. This is your equalizer with, everybody goes, the little kids find everything. Well, that's because they're down low. Here's a piece of striated quartz right in front of me. You're down low and you can see everything at focal length. So with the homie, you can then just go along and pick at pieces to turn them over. Like there's a little tiny piece of beryl right there. Picked it up. In fact, it's almost a crystal. But just work your way up with the knee pads, and since they're gel, these rocks don't hurt you. There's another little tiny piece of beryl. This time, I'll show you what you're looking for. So while I'm sitting here, I see multiple pieces of beryl. There's one in the center of the frame, right at my fingertip. There's one right here. Oops. There's one right here. And there are a couple little pieces on the slope. But what you're looking for is this green hue right here, or blue. If it looks like glass, you've got it. There's another little piece right here. So it's all over the Hogg mine. Now rose quartz. Rose quartz is plentiful. Almost every piece of clear you see here is rose quartz. That's smoky quartz, and then everything else is white quartz or rose quartz. You'll find it everywhere. You want to find pieces that show up to be clear, and we'll find those. We're in the same spot, and I spotted a good piece of rose quartz. You can tell because it picks up the color of the clay behind it, so it looks darker. Can you see it yet? It's right there. That's the piece of rose quartz. That's a pretty good piece. Mother Nature's done you a favor when you're out here. These little washes where they've eroded out, they concentrate clean rocks. And right in the middle of that one, I see a piece of beryl. Can you see it yet? Oh, maybe two pieces. There's one piece. Again, Mother Nature has done us a big favor. She's washed rocks for us. We're going to check out this wash. And there's a tiny piece of beryl right there. Or is it? Yep. So as you can see, there are plenty of rocks, all clean. Here's what I found in that wash. Clean as a whistle until my gloves touch it. A very light piece of rose quartz. That's a fastenable piece of material. At the wash again, right? The tip of the homie is by two pieces. Another wash, washed out clean. So like I said, check the washes. There are the two pieces. Alright, I just went for a crazy little trip. As you can see, it's rained here last night. There's plenty of water everywhere, so be careful. It's clay. I'm on the New Cut Road, and there's big pieces of mica everywhere. That one right there, it's about the size of a tennis ball. Here's a vein of the rose quartz, right there in the center of the screen. You can see it running through the rock. Where there's rose quartz and mica, there are going to be other minerals. Speaking of which, right around the corner, those pieces in the rock, that's tourmaline. Here's a pocket of black tourmaline in the rock. Oh, there's another one over there by my bucket. But pan in, and you can see it. In the sunlight, it could be a piece of heliodor. I'll have to look at it with glasses later. A little hint here, people. This is a mine of all mine tailings, except maybe in the pit. It's not like nobody has dug under a tree. The tree grew up on the tailings, and this area hasn't been picked over. So you don't need to dig out under the tree because you're not going to find anything special. Like I said, it's been dug before. That's why it was dumped here. So no need to burrow under the trees. Here's a piece of quartz that wanted to be a bunch of crystals, but somebody else said no. You don't know the difference. Poison ivy looks like that, but it doesn't have 5 leaves. So that's Virginia creeper. Don't worry about it. Say it again in case I missed it. That there is an example of poison ivy next to Virginia creeper. Hogg isn't covered in poison ivy, so you don't have to worry about it, but be aware. If you do think you got it on you, you have 15 minutes to get it off. Dawn Ultra and water are the best thing, but get soap and water and clean the area as much as you can. And if you get it on the clothing, don't put the clothing back on. That clothing will have the oil in it, and you'll get poison ivy, and that's why people think it spreads, because it's on their clothing. This is the main pit. It's been filled in a bit, but you can see where the sides have been dug out, down. The hole is pretty deep. It's gone about 30 feet, but it's filled in now. Along the edges, towards the parking lot, you'll find some really nice rose quartz. And in that rock area at the end, and up the hill from it, flip rocks. Occasionally you'll find a piece of beryl in matrix and quartz matrix. This is looking away from the parking lot at the edge of the main pit. In that area, I have never found any aquamarine or beryl. You may. Most of it's white quartz. Have a look around though, you never know. Remember I said look in washes? There is a piece of rose quartz buried in the dirt that may be facettable. Actually, there's a couple of them. Alright, I have them in my hand now. As you can see, they're pretty clear. The reason they were showing darker is that they were showing the clay behind them through it. So keep an eye for that. Remember I said check the washes? You see it? A big piece of aquamarine beryl sitting right in the middle there. That's a really nice specimen. This whole slope here has gem rose quartz on it. All you have to do is look, especially check the washes. Here's a major example of what I'm talking about with the rose quartz. Already picked at it once, and it's pretty big. It's not huge, but in a wash. And as you see, the darker color showing up because it's clear and the dirt showing up behind it. It's a pretty significant piece. We're sitting on boulders on a little side chute just before the main pit on the right. In the gravel right here, in the past I found a couple small pieces of facet grade, and I facet aquamarine. They weren't huge, but they were here. And these boulders right now are very comfortable, and that one's rose quartz, and so is that one, and so is that one, and so is that one. Alright, we're at Hogg, and I always say, at Hogg, if you pick up a rock and throw it to the ground, you'll hit rose quartz. And the chances are, the rock you picked up was rose quartz. Reach down, there's a piece of rose quartz, and it hit two pieces. Like I said, everywhere. Little pieces of rose quartz. This is just out in the parking lot. Everywhere. So, in the parking lot, aqua. Everywhere. Just look where you're going. Even in the road, look where you're going, because there's aqua. It's just hard to find the facet pieces, but if you keep looking. We're coming into the tourmaline area. It's over here. It's alongside the road. If you look down, you see the little black spots. Those are all tourmaline. Tiny pieces of tourmaline or crystals. It's this far from the parking lot. And when it's a busy day, it's in the parking lot. Here's an example. We're sitting here walking back. There's a nice little crystal. But there are more. There are more. In the tourmaline area, every little black spot on the ground is a piece of tourmaline or crystal. Chris even found some limonite over here, which is a replacement of pyrite. Just looking around, Zachary picked up this piece. Here, turn it over. Just looking around, Zachary picked up this piece. Everywhere. These are all small pieces, but there's the bigger ones laying around. Everywhere. If you're up by this tree, check some of the white rocks. There was tourmaline matrix dug out of this area at one point, and there may still be tourmaline matrix laying around. Just walking along, and there it is. There's a tourmaline and matrix right there, plain as day.